How's it going, guys? Kevin here, and in today's video I'm going to show you how to install your clipless body latch system for your SCX6 Jeep. Alright, so our first things first is we're going to do the rear. So I already have this mounted, but I'm going to show you guys how to take these parts off and install them. So the first thing we're going to do is remove each of the 4 bolts here. That will release the 2 pieces inside, these 2 solid black pieces. And once those are removed, you can take that off, and we'll be able to gain access to the 2 screws that are underneath each one of these. So I'll show you guys how that's done. Alright, and with that, we have these 2 pieces removed. So now when you look underneath, you're going to find there's a bolt underneath that piece, and underneath this piece as well. And then when you take these off, you're going to notice that there's actually a square on the inside. So I'll do that and show you guys what that looks like. Alright, so here we have everything laid out. You can see that there's a nice little square here. The point of this square is to basically fix this in fixed locations. You can still use the body clips with this system. So make sure that when you put this back in, you put it back so that the body clip is horizontal like this. If you put it vertical, you're going to have a hard time getting that body clip in and out, and that's not the desired intent. So with that, you're just going to take this piece, slide it through the 3D printed part here. Excuse me doing this one-handed here. So you'll slide both of these through. They're a nice tight fit. And then again, you want to just rotate this. Give it a nice little spin so that way it is horizontal on both of them. Then you're going to take this guy, line it up, squeeze it in, tighten it back down, and then just reverse the process. Alright, so now that we've mounted these 2 pieces on, you want to make sure that the snap is facing towards the rear of the truck. And then you're going to set this back up here, grab your license plate, and carefully thread those pieces back in. And once you have that, the rear part is mounted. So I'll show you guys what that looks like once it's on. Alright, so with that, we have the rear mounted, so you can see that the body of the Lexion's actually going to flex. This is what's actually providing a lot of the flex for the latch in the rear here. This is actually designed to be relatively stiff, and that the body flexing is actually doing a little bit of it, a little bit of the movement back here. So with that, we have the rear installed, so now we can move up to the front. So looking at the front piece here, so this is very straightforward and easy to know the orientation because it will not fit in any other orientation. I have loosened the bolts here, so I believe these are either 10 or 15 millimeter. I think they're actually 10 from the factory, so you need to take these 4 bolts off on either side, and then there's going to be 2 on either side, 20 millimeter countersunk M4 bolts. And basically you're going to start threading those through, and what you're going to notice here is that you do need to punch out the little bit of plastic that is on the end. So these are going to have slightly closed off. So it's a very, very minor modification. If you ever just take this off and go back to the stock mount with no latching system, they'll bolt right up as long as you don't strip the threads in there. So you do have to just blow out that end by just tightening it through. It's a very simple process. It's pretty straightforward. If you do have any questions, feel free to reach out. But you basically just keep tightening it until the bolt comes through the end. And you want to do that before you mount this. So put these bolts through, get them to punch through, then bring them back down so you can bolt this next piece in. So with that, let's get this mounted up. So I found the easiest way to do this, make sure you have your nuts on either side. Don't worry about the lower ones right now. But essentially you want to just get the bolt started through there. Make sure it's going into the hole there. And then you just keep tightening this until it grabs the nut. And then once it grabs the nut, it should be nice and snug. Don't need to over tighten it. And then this piece will be loose. We're going to push this down and push it into place. Once it's in place here, then we're going to go tighten down the other side. It helps to just hold this in place with your hands. Make sure it doesn't go anywhere. It's a little hard to try to do it so it's on camera. again, once it's just nice and snug, that's plenty. So now you can see this is going to rotate a little bit. And so these rear screws are what control that tilt. So we want to make sure to control that, which is what these are. So we just need to add our nuts in here and bolt those in. Again, don't need to go too tight on that. Once we get the last one over here, just hold that nut in so it doesn't go anywhere. Alright, and now we can just go around all four corners, make sure they're all nice and snug. Don't want to over tighten these though, because you are still threading through that stock black plastic for the inner piece. So we want to make sure not to go too crazy tight, just nice and snug, and it should be plenty. So with that, everything is mounted up. So now I will grab the truck and we can show you how to mount it on. Alright, so we'll start with our Jeep body off. Again, as I mentioned, you're going to basically want to hold it from the fenders and essentially just sort of place it on angled like this, just basically lining that front up. I'm going to make sure it's centered. And then use your hands to essentially push those inner fenders in. Once you push them in and they find their way, then you can sort of just pick up the body, make sure that on the sides it's going into the locations that it needs to. Once that happens, then we can basically pick up the body, we can spin it around, and go to the rear here, and then all you want to do is basically take your thumb, push it down right there, and then your body is on and latch. So you can pick it up, wiggle it a little bit, make sure it's not going anywhere, wiggle your fenders, pick up, make sure that it's nice and secure.